Hi, it's Sheri, and I'm going to be making some authentic pho. And the first thing we're going to do is make some Asian meatballs to go in the soup at the end. This is a pretty long recipe, but well worth it. So we're going to start with making these meatballs. We're going to preheat the oven to 400, and we're going to be using a pound of organic ground beef. I have a teaspoon of ginger and a teaspoon of garlic, a teaspoon of gluten-free tamari, a teaspoon of red pepper flakes, and a teaspoon of sesame oil. Okay, so while we are waiting for the oven to heat up, we're going to make some sauce for these meatballs. A teaspoon of cornstarch in the pan and a quarter cup of soy sauce. We're going to whisk that together and get it hot. A teaspoon of garlic and ginger, a tablespoon of honey, and a tablespoon of sesame oil. The meatballs are going in the oven for 10 minutes. Okay, we're putting 6 quarts into a very large stock pan, and this is going to go on the stove. We have 4 pounds of marrow bones, and we're going to bring this to a boil. Once it boils, we'll cover it for 10 minutes. Okay, these are done after 10 minutes, the meatballs. When this starts boiling, we will boil it for 5 minutes until more of the scum gets on the top. We want to try to get all that scum off the broth before we make the broth. Okay, we have cut up 2 onions, quartered them, and some ginger, about a 4 to 5 inch piece chopped up, and a little bit of avocado oil on these, and they're going in the broiler for 10 minutes until they're nice and charred. So we are going to dump this out, this water, and rinse the bones off. You can see all the scum that got out of it. Okay. So we have rinsed the bones and cleaned the pan out, and now we are putting 6 more quarts of water in with the rinsed bones. We have cardamom pods. There's about 8 here. I have a tablespoon of coriander seeds, a tablespoon of fennel seeds. I have 2 cinnamon sticks. We have 5 star anise, actually 6, and 6 cloves. Okay, so after we toasted the spices, it's going in a piece of cheesecloth, and we're going to tie it with some string. This is going to go in with the bones. I put the onions and ginger that were charred into the boiling water, the second round of boiling water, and then we have all of our spices in the cheesecloth. That's going in as well. There's a quarter cup of fish sauce going in, half a tablespoon of salt. We've cut up a daikon radish, a tablespoon of sugar. Now this will come up to a boil. Once it's boiling, we'll reduce the heat and put the lid on it, and it will cook for 3 hours. The broth is finishing up. It hasn't been quite 3 hours. And we have cut up some meat that's going to go on top of the broth for later. We are soaking some rice noodles for 15 to 20 minutes to get soft. This will be for the soup. Cilantro, basil we have here, and onions for garnish for afterward. We will finish up the broth and be right back. We drained the broth out with a strainer, and we strained it into another pan. And now we are going to assemble the bowls. This is bean sprouts and noodles we blanched for a couple of minutes. we are going to put the meat in the strained broth, along with the meatballs. I'm gonna grab those two that we made at the beginning. These are just going to simmer for a couple of minutes while we assemble the noodle bowl. So I'm gonna assemble a bowl. You put some noodles with the meatballs and meat. And a little more broth.